Hi beautiful people, welcome to the first episode of the Chronicles of the Canon EOS R. I do have another series which is my A cam, the Canon C70. So this is dedicated solely to the EOS R, which is my B cam. The Canon EOS R has been with us for quite some time and there's lots of information about it on the net. So I'm not going to dwell much about its capabilities and all that. So I want to talk about the 5 things that I use that helps me to actually leverage the power in this camera. So a little bit of a background. I actually sold a camera that was capable of 4K 50 frames per second, can shoot at 10-bit internal, and can shoot up to about 400 megabits per second. And the picture was very detailed, was easy to grade, which was the Fujifilm X-T3. So that's what I sold to buy this camera. In contrast, this camera actually doesn't have lots of those things. So, but what I bought was actually convenience, which is no overheating, which is same color science as my A cam, same lenses as my A cam, and it actually has lots of lens collections, and my friends actually uses Canon, so I can borrow lenses, which is quite nice. So now, in that convenience that I bought, there are 5 things that actually leverage this camera. So let's start with the first one, and which is the power bank. This camera you cannot shoot a video and charge it at the same time. It doesn't do that. So I actually bought this. It's called Camera Powerbank. It's not like your ordinary power bank. I have a video where I talked about some power sources that I used when I was powering my Fujifilm, and I did talk about not liking to use the power bank because if those USB-A cable comes out, you actually lose the whole footage. But this is quite different. I'm actually busy testing it, and I'm going to put a video, and once I put the video up on YouTube or wherever, there will be a link up here, and also there will be a link at the end and underneath this video. So this is a power bank, and my initial test gave me about 4 hours of continuous recording on the EOS R, and also I've connected the monitor, and my settings were at the highest, which is, I think it's capable of 480 megabits per second if I'm not wrong. So I got about 4 hours from this. So this is a recommendation or a must if you're shooting video. Number 2 is ND filters. You can buy ND filters for your lenses, but then you'll have to buy ND filters for all the lens sizes that you have or that you use for video. So instead of that, you can actually buy this adapter. It's called drop-in filter mount EF to EOS R. So what does this? It's specially designed that you can actually have your filter. You can drop your filter in and out, and you can actually use a CPL filter, a clear filter, and a VND, which is a variable ND filter, which is what I like, especially for video when you shoot outside and you want to shoot wide open. So this just goes in here, and it has a sort of a dial that you can use to actually change or darken or lighten your variable ND filter. So you will also need a clear filter, because when you are inside, you don't want to use a VND. Then you can just get a clear filter, put it in so that you actually close that gap there. I've seen some guys that actually have a 3D printed part and they just close with it here. I don't know how it works. I don't know if you can buy one of those. but what I know is that Canon does have a clear ND filter. So the other thing is I also use a cage. You can buy a small cage from small rigs or any other manufacturers. So I already had this cage from my use with Fujifilm, and I'm using it. It's quite big, but you can still buy a small one. So with the cage, it will help you with mounting all those other stuff like your power solution, your monitor, even though you can directly put the monitor on camera, but it's quite nice here. And also you can put your mat box, which will help with light entering your, what do you call it, your lens. So that is the third thing. So I didn't buy this. I didn't have to buy it for this camera. I already had it from my A cam, which came as a bundle. So one might ask, why a speed booster on a full frame? Because this is actually made specifically for a crop sensor. So my A cam is a crop sensor, and I use this to get a full frame view from the crop sensor and gain an extra stop of light. So the EOS R has some like a weird kind of 4K shooting. So when it's a 30 megapixel full frame camera, but when you shoot 4K, what it does, it actually crops. So it uses 1:1 I'm not sure if it's called the readout. So that means it actually uses is it 12 megapixel, or let me say that small part of the sensor that you will get 4K from when it reads 1:1. So it's actually a small section of this full frame sensor. That means you can now put this without having vignette on your picture. And what this will do will actually boost that similar to when it boosts my A cam or a crop sensor, so that you get almost a full frame, a full frame view or angle of view. But with this, it crops so much that it's actually even smaller than your crop sensors, which is 1.6 or 1.5 times. So this goes to about 1.7 times. So when you put this, you are actually going, instead of getting the exact view of the full frame, you're going to get something like 1.2 or 1.25. So it is very close to a full frame, but it's actually not a full frame view. But this will actually help you. So if you have it, maybe you are using it on one of your cams, when you shoot 4K, you can actually get a wider view by just using this. The fifth one is, since I actually want to use this camera to shoot 10-bit, and the sensor, or it has been designed in a way that it can output 10-bit into a monitor that can record 10-bit. So you can use any other monitor, and I got myself the Ninja V, which is quite nice. If you can get it whether second-hand or can buy a new one, it's actually a great add-on onto this camera. So here's the thing, not all monitors work according to what I have seen. I already have an older monitor, which is an HD monitor. So the EOS R only output 10-bit to 4K. So if your monitor is HD, it doesn't want to work. I tried it with mine, it doesn't work. But when I use the Ninja V, which is a 4K monitor, it works flawlessly. So to explain this, if you are outputting 8-bit, you can use any other monitor, even the HD monitor. But if you are outputting 10-bit, it only output 4K, and it needs a monitor that can record 4K. So that's what I have seen. And if you have tested and you are not agreeing with this, please put a link underneath to your video or to the information that you have, and that will actually be quite nice to learn that somehow it's not working for me, but it's working for someone else. So a recording monitor is quite nice. Now, bonus. Before the bonus, I just want to warn you that when you output 10-bit into the monitor, the camera doesn't record. So when you output 10-bit, you actually don't have a backup between the camera and the monitor. So just be aware of that, because maybe you might want a backup. I don't know how you're going to do that. You add another monitor or what, but yeah, you cannot record internally and output 10-bit. Now let's get to the bonus. Since well, the EOS R, when you shoot 4K, it actually uses a cropped part of the sensor. You can actually use a crop sensor lens if you do have one. So if you have a crop sensor lens, you're not using it, or it's just lying around, you can actually use it for your 4K videos. And you shouldn't get vignetting. I don't see why you will get it. You shouldn't. So guys, those are the 5 things and a bonus that actually helps me to leverage the power of this Canon EOS R. If you like this video, please just like, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so that next time when I have another episode of the Chronicles of the EOS R, you can get the message. So this is your boy Kagiso M. For now, I'm out of here.